Welcome to Garage Gym Athlete Ask Me Anything. It's pretty simple. I'll be answering questions from the thousands of athletes that follow our daily programming. If you have a question or topic you want submitted, go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA. Let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
What up, Jay?
Jay, yeah. Some people call me Jay. It's perfectly fine.
That's what Marco says, so I'm just like Marco. I don't know if I can
Yeah.
pull it off though.
It was natural. We didn't feel forced at all.
No.
All right, let's get into this week's Ask Me Anything. A question from Steven. It says, any tips for controlling breathing while working out and for increasing lung capacity? Yeah, that's it. You got anything? You want me to go first?
I'll jump in a little bit because I just want to say that I struggle with breathing. I think breathing can be one of those really stressful. It really induces a fight or flight response because you need to breathe and you want to breathe more. But if you start breathing heavier and faster, then it's actually worse. So you kind of have to mentally make yourself slow down and breathe properly in order in the long run. And that definitely sucks at first, especially because of nasal breathing is the best way to go to recover from when you're doing intervals. It definitely happens a lot with intervals because a lot of times we're doing sustainable, repeatable interval or like really high intensity ones, and then like a little bit of longer rest, but you still want to recover enough so that you can go and hit that next interval the best you can. And a lot of times I know when I first stop whatever interval it is, I'll just breathe naturally, whatever my body wants for the first 10 15 seconds, and then I'll try and force myself to take to breathe into my nose. But I might do like a half nose half mouth breathing in, as long as I'm getting some nasal breathing in, and then fade in deeper nasal breathing as best as I can, even though my body's kind of fighting me to breathe harder, but I just know I have to do that. And when it's really hard, what I've really noticed and how I started doing that was also during breathing ladders, which can be terrible, but it's a great practice for this because it's not a timed breathing. It's not a timed rest. It's you're resting for as long as you're breathing for however many breaths you're going. That's how the breathing ladder works. 1 rep, 1 breath, 2 reps, 2 breaths, all the way up to whatever you're doing. So you learn to really cherish the breaths that you're taking, and you really need to make those each breath count if you're sticking to what a breathing ladder is. So whenever I do breathing ladders, so if you can during stuff like this, you probably can't do it when you're running, but whenever I do breathing ladders, I will actually like sit on a box, put my hands out onto something else to let my chest expand, and then really slow and controlled breathing throughout so that I can get as much rest and as much breath as possible for those breaths to maximize to maximize recovery. So that's my first thought on controlling breathing. It definitely sucks. You just got to fight what your body's saying and know that in the long run, because I know after about 30 seconds, I'll get over the hump. It's almost like sometimes I get dizzy as well going through that, but I know that I'll get over the hump and then I'll be better for it versus if I was just inhaling, or whatever, then I might not ever recover.
Yeah. I think I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think being mindful of taking those breaths is very important. And a lot of times we're not. We just kind of let our body dictate how much oxygen it needs, and we're just going to kind of let that do its own thing. And it gets worse during high intensity, right? I used to really have this problem. My breathing would just seem to get out of whack, like huge, like mismatch of how much. Like I wouldn't necessarily feel as tired or much of a muscular burn, but my breathing would get so out of whack, I just couldn't continue. I'd have to stop to like gain control of that again. And what Joe mentioned is a perfect practice if you're talking about what training could you actually do for this. Breathing ladders. We program them occasionally. We do 1 to 20 and sometimes 1 to 20 to 1, which means you do, like Joe said, we like to do it with more metabolically demanding movements. So it could be a kettlebell swing, it could be barbell cleans, it could even be burpees if you wanted it to. So it's going to be 1 repetition, then 1 breath. And what happens is when you get up to like 19 on a ladder to 20, what Joe's saying is if you just let your body do whatever it wants, you could take 19 breaths in a minute and just like or less when you're exercising. You know, you could be breathing really fast if you just let your body dictate the cadence of that breath. And then what you're going to find out is if you do let that happen, is you're like, I'm not ready to do 20 reps now. This is going to suck hard. And you might not even be able to do it because a lot of people, when they first start doing breathing ladders in our training, they actually fail. They're not able to continue. They're not able to actually keep the reps and the breaths how they should be. So that's a great training exercise to do because I do the same thing. Like when I'm getting up to 19 and 20, especially if we're doing coming back down from that ladder, is just really controlling it. Like I can make 20 breaths last a very long time now. And so I can take almost full recovery at the top of a ladder, even though I should be completely like drained. And that's not how I started with breathing ladders. It was very, very challenging. So breathing ladders is a great one. I'm going to recommend a book we talked about on the podcast, Breath by James Nestor. It's Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art. He talks about there is some fitness elements in there. That's not what the whole book is about. But the main thing that your body needs to become accustomed to in breathing is its ability to cope with its CO2 tolerance, like how much your body can hold. And a good way to practice this is longer retentions. So I do breath work almost on a daily basis. It might only be for 5 minutes one day, it might be for 15 or 20 minutes another day, but I'm doing something every day. And longer retentions trains your body to be okay with more CO2 buildup without having to get into this ridiculous like hyperventilating breathing. So if you can do longer retentions, and you'd be surprised at how long you can actually hold your breath after you practice. I know I've done a lot of Wim Hof breathing over the years. And when I'm doing Wim Hof breathing on a regular basis, like holding my breath for like 2.5 minutes is not uncommon. And I didn't think I could ever do that. I was like, I think I have baby lungs and 60 seconds is about my max. But then once you actually start practicing these things and you realize you get better at it, it's very trainable state. So one, do some breathing ladders because they're fun. They'll train you how to handle yourself during exercise. Two, breath retentions for long periods of time. And then three, making it an actual daily practice because you're not going to do the Wim Hof method once this week and then never again and see any sort of results. So it doesn't have to be Wim Hof. There are a lot of great apps out there. State is an app. Breathworks, WRX, I think it is, something like that, is another one I used. And then there's the Wim Hof Method app. So all of those apps are really good. I've used them. Pranayama breathing or some other ones. So there's a lot of good breath apps out there. But just making it a regular practice is what I'm trying to say. Making it a habit is one of the biggest parts there.
Yeah, that's something that I really need to try and incorporate just a little bit. I just know it's really uncomfortable. It's something that I definitely am really uncomfortable with doing breathing stuff, but I think it's something that I really need to get more into, even if it's just deeper, slower nasal breathing for a period of time or something, sitting still.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like when I get out of the practice and then I go back to doing it, I will get like lightheaded doing, and that's to me that's like an indicator that I need to be doing it more often. So like if I fall off the
Mhm.
wagon and I'm not doing my daily practice and then I get back to it, but when I am doing it every single day, that never happens. I'm never uncomfortable. I don't ever feel lightheaded, but like like I said, I feel like that indicator if you're getting lightheaded when you're doing these is like okay, you need to do more of them. That's the big takeaway there.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's everything about breath. If you guys have any more questions about this topic, let me know. It helps a lot with anxiety and a lot of other things too beyond fitness. So there are a lot of good reasons to do something like this and overall health. And if you do read that book by James Nestor, he gets into a lot of the details there. But that's it for this AMA. Thank you, Stephen, for asking. Again, if you guys have a question, go to garagegymathlete.com/AMA and we will get to your question. Otherwise, if you're on the podcast player of your choice, please 5-star review, positive comment helps us out. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to that channel, smash the like button, and leave us a comment. Let you know what you think about our awesome AMA episodes. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching or listening. hope you enjoyed today's Ask Me Anything episode. So one more time, if you want to submit a question, topic, or idea, you can do so at GarageGymAthlete.com/AMA. And hey, while you're there, if you haven't already, sign up for Garage Gym Athlete membership. We are the best community and programming on the internet. I dare you to try and prove me wrong.